With Gina.
The news with Gina Grad.
Well, two men who pretended to be military veterans were sentenced to some very interesting punishments in Montana on Friday. As the Great Falls Tribune explains, 28-year-old Ryan Patrick Morris and 33-year-old Troy Allen Nelson were appearing before Judge Greg Pinsky, no relation, for violating the terms of deferred or suspended sentences they had received in two totally unrelated cases. But in both of those cases, they had claimed to be military vets. That was an attempt to get a lesser sentence. That was an attempt to allow to be able to enter the judge's Veterans Treatment Court. So on Friday, Pinsky, who read the names of soldiers from Montana who died while serving in Iraq and Afghanistan, sentenced to both to prison time, plus these additional requirements. Here's what else they have to do. For each Memorial Day and each Veterans Day, while they are under court-ordered supervision, they must appear at the Montana Veterans Memorial and wear a sign that says, "I am a liar, I am not a veteran, I stole valor, I dishonored all veterans."
Stolen valor.
They must handwrite the 6,756 names of Americans who have died in Iraq and Afghanistan. They must handwrite the obituaries, 40 obituaries of Montanans who have died in Iraq and Afghanistan. They must complete 441 hours of community service, and they must write an apology letter to the American Legion, AMVETS, Disabled American Veterans, the Iraq and Afghanistan Veterans of America, the Veterans of Foreign Wars, and the Vietnam Veterans of America.
I love this kind of old-timey judging stuff
Creative
going
sentencing.
on. I know, maybe the ACLU hates it or something like that. I like when they put the sandwich board sign saying I'm a petty thief and you have to go stand in front of the store you tried to steal a watch from. I like all that shit. Shaming is a good thing. We've gotten way too far away from shaming. Shaming is nice.
And not just shaming in the name of anything, shaming in the name of military veterans who served and possibly died.
Right.
That's very, very specific.
Yes.
I watch these videos all the time on YouTube of the stolen valor, and that's the best shaming right there. It's actually, they're amazing because like a military guy will catch these guys and then
approach them at an airport or something
and say, "Why is your badge like that? Why are your boots tied like that?" and stuff. And I just like while I'm eating, I don't know, I just watch all these weird videos. But
You've done that rabbit hole.
Again, it's tempting to say I was the captain of the football team in high school or I won a Pulitzer Prize or whatever. But ultimately, if you weren't and you didn't, how much does it really help you? I don't get it. It's a reverse engineering. It's sort of what we're talking about with the lasagna. It's not the lasagna. It's the journey to the lasagna.
I got to the lasagna.
And I get it if you're trying to get a job or get your dick sucked or something. Maybe you just go, I was a military guy or something.
Get on a plane earlier.
Something. But here's what I'm saying. We have to think about the journey. Getting on the plane first is the destination, but the journey is your life. And this notion of let's see what we can get away with. Again, I think it's a combination of I feel I have to preface this by saying I'm an atheist, but religion is shrinking, government is growing, and thus we're all in a what can we get away with mode. Religion helps you govern yourself. The government is just one big workaround to see if we can get by, taxes, IRS, how do we do it? How do we get around them? The more rules, the less religion, the more we're going to start faking stuff and seeing if we can cut in line. You've essentially challenged us to cut in line.
Right.
You're basically going, if you're not cutting in line, someone else is cutting in line and they're getting ahead of you. So you'd be a fool not to forge some papers or not to get a fake placard for handicap and park or not to work this system. And we're sort of encouraging people to do this. We're incentivizing them to do it. Yeah. Weak people, but people aren't de facto good or bad. They're just kind of weak. Like
Malleable.
If somebody goes, look, there's a line over there to get on the plane. It's 200 people long. There's a line over there. It's 10 people long. Okay. You want to get in the 10-person line?
More than anything.
Yeah, okay. What do I need to do? Just go over there and tell them blah, blah, blah. And
Start limping.
No one's going to check? Like, no. Oh, most people will just walk over to that line. That's unfortunate, but that's our wiring. Yeah. And we're now creating I think it used to be like, well, my dad would kill me if he ever saw me in that line. Like, you think about your dead grandpa who was a veteran and go, God damn, I won't go over there. I mean, my fucking grandpa would cry in his grave if he saw whatever. Or I'm a very deeply religious, devout person, and my own set moral compass will not let me go over there. Now it's just fucking game on. Let's see if we can get past the rules.
Yeah.
Skirt the
it's
rules.
A numbers game.
Right.
That just reminded me, and I would have had no reason to ever think of this again. A million years ago in Miami, we hung out with these dudes all night because they said they were paratroopers. How hot is that?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's true.
No.
Worth it.
Well, these guys on Fremont Street, I found out they make believe they're Chippendales dancers, and they just sit at a booth, and they actually say, like, hey, we perform every night at 8 p.m., 8:30, and they're not real Chippendales
Why aren't
dancers.
You there?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Are they trying to get laid?
No, I think they make money to take pictures.
There's a lot of crazy stuff on Fremont Street. There's nuns and G-strings and all kinds of fun stuff.
Is Gary under this roof right now? Okay, Gina, we've never told this story on the air, but do you remember the time we were coming back from, I think it was a cruise, a live show for sure, and we were in an airport. It was you, me, and Gary, and there was handicap seats, and there was a woman sitting in the handicap seats.
Yes, I do.
With her
this is coming back from the
kid
cruise.
or something.
Yeah.
And someone wheeled up to them. Like, I think he had I think it was he had a boot or something. He was seriously injured. He had like a boot, and I think he had one of those, like, you know, put your knee on the wheel thing.
Scooter,
the
knee
scooter.
scooter.
Yeah, exactly. One of those.
Vinny had one of those. I saw him TMZ.
I just had one. It was Mario Lopez's.
Oh, he took his?
Yeah, because he tore his Achilles, and he saw me like limping around, and he was like, "Hey, you want it?" And keep it. And he signed it for me. I'm sorry to cut you off.
No,
yeah.
it's
I have a torn ligament in my ankle. That's why.
It's on TMZ.
So Vinny rolls up on his little scooter.
Threw his ankle out twerking on some bitch, and was out of commission for a few weeks.
Gina, if you remember details different than me, speak up. But I remember that he kind of looked at her and like her kids sitting next to him, like eating sandwiches on these handicap seats, right, that are reserved for the handicap passengers. And we're at the gate. We're waiting to get on the airplane, and he's like, "Do you mind if I?" He kind of pointed at his thing. He's like, "Do you mind if I sat down here?" And she goes, "No, I need these seats. My kids are eating whatever." He's like. And there was an exchange. God. Now there's an exchange.
Yeah, right.
And he's like, but they're handicap seats. I'm handicapped. And she got so exasperated. At one point, she blurted out after 4 or 5 back and forth. She goes, "I have a bad back."
Yes.
Oh, wow. What?
I thought we got video, too. This is a long time ago.
I think we got a picture.
Maybe there's a picture.
This was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
her thing was, "I have a bad back."
Well, she had to say something at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because he was like, "Do you need these
I remember
seats?"
That.
Like, I clearly need these.
I've been preaching this for a while. There aren't enough cops, school counselors, crossing guards, airport staff to ever police everyone once we all start going off the dignity highway into the fucking drainage ditch of life. We as a society need to govern ourselves. We need to have a little quiet dignity. We need to do that. When we remove all of that shit and go, it's now game on and it's every man for themselves, there's not enough staff to govern it. Yeah. And by the way, the people that are governing aren't into governing anymore. That's why we have this homeless situation. Right. It's like we're going to fuck ourselves up. And the person, namely moi, who's been yelling, feed your own fucking kids breakfast. You make your kids breakfast. Don't have the school make them breakfast. They need to get breakfast from you, who's been torn a new asshole by the assholes at Huffington Post. Adam Carolla doesn't like kids. Fuck you. Do you see where we're going? You have to have some fucking dignity. You have to have some pride. Mama's got to make some breakfast. The school lunch seems like we're doing everyone a favor and we're being compassionate. Watch how fast we fucking slide. We're sliding right off that fucking highway, and we're going fast because of all the shit you guys keep providing in the name of kindness. You're fucking people up.
To your point, I don't know what school it is, but on the way home, I was listening, I think it was KFI, and they were talking about a school that is super pissed because if you owe $10 on your lunch card, you get a tuna fish sandwich, and that's what they will give you just, if you don't have any money. And the kids went nuts saying no, because now the tuna fish sandwich will be a badge of shame.
You people, we don't, for folks who try to govern, when you try to govern, if you are the game warden at Jellystone Park and you want to stop Yogi and Boo Boo from stealing them picnic baskets, you have to do things. And what you have to do is you have to go, we're going to lock up the dumpsters, and you take your cooler and hang it up in the tree if you're going on a hike. You can't leave stuff around. The bears will start learning that they're going to get into it and whatever. Humans are no different. You have to understand what they do, how they work, where they're going to go. You can give them a free pastrami sandwich every fucking day. They'll appreciate it probably until Tuesday or Wednesday of week number 1, and then it's just their sandwich. If you ever try to take it away, that'll be met with screams of agony. And if you try to swap it out with tuna, now we're going to get into tuna shaming, and then they're going to lawyer up, and now it's clusterfuck time. I don't understand why people don't understand this. You're not helping people by doing this. You're robbing them of their dignity. It's not compassionate. It's the opposite of compassion. It's like going, well, let the bears get into the dumpsters. Come on, they got to eat. They got baby cubs. Let them eat. You're fucking everything up. Yep. You're handing everything out. You're robbing people of dignity. It never works. By the way, I don't know. How has it worked? How's it work? Well, we've given these kids free lunches, and they did it for a couple of weeks, and then they got their shit together, and now they're all doing, or are they just back to even and complaining about where's the free dinner, and they've spilled into where's the free lunch during the summertime when we're not at school? Please, politicians, stop fucking handing shit out. You're fucking up the bear population. Jesus Christ. And me saying this is not cruel. I'm just dropping a little reality on you so the kids can get the cubs can get strong and go hunt for themselves one day. Everybody, assholes, fuck you, Huffington Post. Adam Carolla says, fuck you. Fucking bitch. Where's she at? That's Young Turks. Fucking Adam doesn't want people to have lunch. Fuck you. Fuck you. And by the way, are you intellectually fucking retarded? What's going on in your head? Do you not understand what I'm saying? This is a pretty easy concept. You have to fucking put it through your shit grist mill and have it pump out the other side into I'm a bad guy. And by the way, everyone who wants people to fucking lift themselves up by their own bootstraps is a bad person. Fuck you. You guys don't know shit about life. God damn. And your thing is to just shame everybody? This is a million years ago, but it's like I said, I don't care about paying. I don't care about the money. I want the kids to make their own lunch so they can learn. I want mama to make the lunch. Like, Adam Carolla doesn't think kids should be allowed to eat. Fuck you.
You even said I'd pay to have the eggs dropped off every week so they're made at home.
Well, we're now entering some new world where you just skip past things that people said and go right to whatever your fucking truth is, although your truth is a lie, and obviously you're not interested in journalism. That's journalism? So that's your version of journalism? You just skip past a bunch of fucking shit and go right to whatever you've constructed and then put it out there? Fuck you guys. Thank God I don't have a job. Otherwise I'd be worried.
Yeah.
All right, sorry.
A restaurant valet who claims TV's Judge Mathis spit on him when he took too long to get his Rolls Royce says he has
I heard about that.
I'm sure you did because it was on TMZ.
The damn right it was. I learned Vinny had a bad peg.
A knee scooter.
Yeah.
Has DNA evidence on his shirt.
Find
to
that
prove
Young
it.
Turks thing. It drives me nuts.
The internet's down right now.
I was going to say, I found the picture from the airport.
What's up with the goddamn internet around here?
It's a monopoly. I can't stay at it. They just say, oh, there's an outage, and we can't do anything about it.
All right.
But Caitlin said he saw a lot of cable company trucks driving around.
All right. Well, Greg Mathis.
They said he spit on him.
Do we have clips?
The guy took off.
Yeah. So the dude apparently. Well, I have the whole thing.
Can we institute a system? Can we institute a valet system where, like, you know, when you see your car and it's 18 feet away, and the valet's got the big bank of keys, and Thurston Howell III is there, and the guy's like, I'll go to the marina and get your car, Captain. And you're like, I just want to get, my car's right here. Like, can we do a thing where I just give you $5, or we have some sort of thing where I can get my own keys and just walk? Because they want your money. They do it in order of appearance. The other guy's car's across the parking lot. You're like, I'll just take my keys and go pull my own car. You don't have to pull it 11 feet and get out.
Yeah, I've done that. I'm like, that's my car. These are my keys. I'll
take my
pay you.
keys.
I get it. We've all done it. Sometimes it works. Sometimes the guy goes. Sometimes the guy goes, "I'll be right with you," and he takes off. Whatever. You feel weird reaching into that weird little key vault. You know. Mm-hmm. Can we have a system? You know what I mean? Like a little self-serve, like a little just some protocol where it's like, oh, my car's right here, and I'll be picking that up. I don't know, picture your car on your ID or on your key fob, or picture your face on your key fob. Like some sort of system that avoids this. Yeah. All right. So anyway.
So Greg Mathis admits to yelling at the valet outside the Detroit restaurant, but strongly denies spitting on him. But the valet says there's a lab test for saliva, and he's going to prove it. The incident is under investigation. Here's what the judge had to say to Harvey Levin on TMZ about what occurred.
First of all, it was a 40-minute wait.
40 minutes?
Yeah, it was a 40-minute wait. And when he came, yes, I yelled at him and asked, why would he take my car for 40 minutes or the keys to my car? And he began to apologize. And then he said something, I think, of, I went to the store, or something that was more ridiculous than the apology. And so we had a little verbal back and forth, and that was the extent of it. It was no spitting. You know, there were 6 witnesses there. If they want to ask them, I was
definitely not a Jew, which
the
is
owner's
I
son.
drove my Rolls Royce to the Detroit restaurant and spit on the valet. That's not the work of the
high and low culture.
No one in your tribe over there.
No, sir.
All right. I don't know. Do we care? So he didn't do it. He says he did. Also, you can't really prove it because if you are exasperated and you're talking and you've left a restaurant where you had a couple martinis, you could the spittle shall be flying.
Yeah.
All right. What else, Gina Gray?
Well, as Adam Carolla predicted, Pete Davidson's breakup with Ariana Grande has not hurt his ability to get girls, as the comic has moved on again. The SNL star, who was briefly engaged to Ariana Grande, then dated Kate Beckinsale for 4 months, is now spending time with Margaret Qualley. She's 24 years old. She was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and she stars in the upcoming thriller Seberg. She also happens to be the daughter of Andy McDowell. The
Bad girls.
The couple plans to make their relationship official at the Venice Film Festival. So that's his new lady friend.
He was also with Larry David's daughter before
That's right.
Ariana Grande.
That's right.
He's a star fucker. And he's from Staten Island, where I'm from. So I kind of get upset about this. It's like, I want a celebrity girlfriend.
Every time there's that's how you do it. You got to bag one hot, well-known chick.
You're on that treadmill.
And that's just that's who you bang. Was she the sort of runaway hitchhiker one in that
She does
movie?
Look like it.
Yes, she was. Last I checked, by the way, speaking of Rotten Tomatoes, in the audience department, 70% is Tarantino's lowest movie.
Amongst the audience?
Amongst the audience.
That's too bad.
Yes.
It's a really good movie.
Not as good as I like Hateful Eight better. That's me. But the audience
You should definitely say that quieter.
No, I like Hateful Eight. I watched a long version of it on Netflix the other day.
Hateful Eight is the long version of Hateful Eight.
I know it. Look, a lot of people don't like Hateful Eight. I love that goddamn movie. I liked it better than this one.
I still haven't seen it. I cannot wait to see it.
Which one?
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I loved Hateful Eight.
I
didn't see it in the theater.
It's the lowest rated audience movie, which is weird, and I didn't like it as much. Okay. I love all Tarantino movies. This is, and I would watch it over. I liked it better than I don't know, Jackie Brown or something.
I think the audience just didn't like sitting through it, but they liked the movie. That's the same exact result critique I hear every time.
It's there's plenty to enjoy.
Okay.
It just missed that Tarantino crisp dialogue, but plenty to enjoy.
Well, Matthew McConaughey is going back to school, this time as a teacher. The Oscar winner will join his alma mater, the University of Texas at Austin, as a film professor this fall. According to USA Today, he'll develop the curriculum for script-to-screen film production class with short film director Scott Rice. In a press release, McConaughey says, quote, "It's the class I wish I would have gotten when I was in film school. Working in the classroom with these students gives me a chance to prepare them." He was a visiting instructor at the school in 2015, but now he's going full teacher.
Wow.
It's usually just driving around his Lincoln Navigator thinking.
Pondering.
You know what I mean?
Where does he find the time?
Just thinking.
Yeah. He's going James Franco now.
Well, let me say
boy.
this.
Careful.
Yeah.
I'll say this. McConaughey, I think he's one of these guys that is... We're given a little more credit in the intellectual horsepower department than maybe deserved. I don't know. I do know, as I've said, he wrote or directed or starred in or whatever. When he made a movie on his own, just like I'm doing a passion project, he made a movie called Surfer Dude, and it sucked. So I'm not saying he's not a fine actor, but I don't know about the overall. I think we're giving him a little too much credit. He looks like he's thinking about something smart.
He's great at that.
Right.
He's got that down.
Right. The opposite of Katy Perry.
Yes.
She always looks like she's thinking about something dumb. He looks like he's thinking about something smart.
Right.
I would say Katy Perry is as smart as McConaughey, but McConaughey looks like he's thinking about something.
Yeah. And let's not forget Tiptoes, the movie that came and went. I believe that was with Kate Beckinsale.
Yes.
And who
Gary
played
Oldman.
Gordon? Thank you. And he literally did the entire movie on his knees, and it was a romantic
Gary Oldman,
comedy.
yeah.
Yep. And I don't think that ever got a wide release.
Wow.
And it shouldn't have.
Criminally.
Yeah.
We have the video about the Young Turks and
Shitting
me.
out kids.
This is their feedback on me with kids. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, it's a 9-minute video. We'll watch the beginning of it, but this is Anna Kasparian, and the title is Adam Carolla against feeding kids.
The
Adam
caption,
and Naive.
that is good.
That's
actually.
good.
Adam Carolla was speaking with Dr. Drew on the Adam and Dr. Drew show, and they were discussing the issue of politics. And it turns out that Adam Carolla has become kind of political, which he didn't really see himself doing in the past. But he addressed this in a very, very lengthy discussion, and I want to show you a few snippets of it. Let's take a quick look at the first video.
I think I've become more conservative as I've gotten older, as I've had a family, you know, as people do when they get older and they have a family and they pay more in taxes and they start looking for school systems for their kids that are usable and things like that. There's a move toward a more conservative
It's not a video,
life
it's just a picture
in
for me.
general as you get older. But as far as my talking points go, you know, stop shitting out kids you can't afford. You pay for their school breakfast, not because I want you to pay for their school breakfast, but because the kid should know that mom and or dad are paying for breakfast. I mean, making the effort. It's a psychological thing. It's not a matter of I don't want to pay 39 cents a day for your kid. I don't give a fuck about that. Half the fucking government takes half my money and does whatever the fuck they want with it anyway. I mean, that's your kid's breakfast is the least of my worries. I worry about your kid and the message that's being sent to your kid by mama not making them breakfast. That's what I worry about. But my talking points have not changed. Get your shit together, get to work, stop shitting out kids, so on and so forth.
I love that video because for someone who doesn't give a shit about breakfast, he talks about breakfast throughout the entire clip. He's like, make your kids breakfast. Now, what I love about that is it's always the go-to argument by some conservatives, and usually the least informed conservatives, right? They're really angry about free lunches. And of all the issues, of all the different things that we waste our tax dollars on, to go to the issue of school lunches just befuddles me. I just don't understand
Didn't
it.
I say I don't care about the money and I pay enough in taxes and I'm not interested in the money?
I think you missed the point.
Is she a journalist? How do you listen to that and then rebut it with that when I just said I don't care about the taxes or the money?
Specifically the psychological impact on the kid of doesn't get breakfast.
I think it's pretty abundantly clear. One would have to either be a horrible journalist or a fucking liar,
It was
right?
clearly stated.
All right, well, let me hear the rest of
He
it.
gets into more specifics, or he gets a little more specific, I should say, in the next clip. Let's take a quick look at that.
It's the
All
left
let's
turning.
All right, let's go back to this. I'm just saying, I've repeated myself 5 times. Not interested in the money,
It's not about
interested
the 39
in the
cents.
message that it's sent that the government is taking care of you, not your parents.
And you were heard loud and clear.
Pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so didn't mind the 39 cents. All right.
Can I put you in a better mood?
I don't know. She's a fucking journalist. I mean, that That's what she does, right?
Yeah.
Well, what
teaches journalism?
Why not be a little more accurate? Or don't lie. I don't know what's one or the other. Just pick a fucking story and report the story. This isn't a story.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. I get it. You disagree with me. I'm not sure. I'm not even sure. Here's what you're not allowed to do. You are allowed to disagree with me. You must then take the counterpoint. You're not allowed to take my point and fuck it all up and then disagree with me. Right. That's not disagreeing with me. That's you fucking my point up and then disagreeing a point that's pretty easy to disagree against. Adam has so much money. He doesn't think kids need money. Whatever. Mm-hmm. That's the wrong. If you'd like to take umbrage with my point, you may, but you must mount. Mm-hmm. You must mount an attack on my point, not fuck my point up and then spit it out.
Yeah. At least in this clip, it was sort of a feeble jumping off point to make her own argument her own thoughts against why do people hate school lunches? It's like, well, it's not neither here nor there.
Right. Okay. Anyway, it's not journalism. Fucking be a journalist.
Next story.
Next. I would also say, don't pick this story. You can't fucking poke holes in it. And by the way, I shall be right about all this stuff. Keep fucking feeding them lunch at school for free. See how fucking fat and angry they all get. Go ahead.
Yep. Well, following in the footsteps of Bryan Cranston, Aaron Paul, and George Clooney, Nick Jonas getting in on the tequila game with a little help from designer John Varvatos. Nick says he was inspired to do a tequila of his own after a boozy trip to Mexico with his friends.
Inspired.
And insists he is involved in all aspects of the process, from the distilling to the bottle
never like,
design.
after Murray, my accountant called me.
I was going to say,
what you need.
My manager tapped me on the shoulder and said, hey.
You're in the
After
red.
sitting in his office in Encino, I realized I was leaving a lot of money on the table. No,
Villa One.
they got to make a journey somewhere.
right.
By the way, does anyone need to make a journey to Old Mexico to understand tequila? Or could one go to a fucking Vendome and figure it out?
Yeah. It's called Villa One. It'll be available at 3 price points, $45 to $60, and it'll launch next month. I'm going to stick with the Breaking Bad mezcal, but that's just me.
I'm going with the Chernobyl stuff, man.
Yeah, that's right. Radioactive.
That's right.
Yeah. Everybody's getting in on it.
Yeah, why not? You know, what happens is, and I can't figure out whether I like the Jonas Brothers or not. I don't want to just be a hater, but I don't have any information, good or bad. I think what happens is when you tour and you play
with them a few times.
Oh, tell us.
Good?
Yeah. This was when they were having some off years.
Mm-hmm.
I pick up on celebrities when they have these off years. I start dating the chicks that are haven't been in a movie in 5 years and stuff.
Watch out, Natasha Lyonne.
But then they had a huge resurgence, and I was friends with Joe. I think Snooki's friends with Kevin because he lives in Jersey. He's the most normal one. But Nick
Jonas.
is the
There's Nick and Joe that I think are married to Priyanka Chopra and the chick from Game of Thrones.
Yeah. So this was not Game of Thrones Joe.
Got it.
This was Vegas Joe. And he was cool. We had a good time. He's really small. He's this big.
They're coming back. I mean, they came
they're
back. They're
huge,
back.
yeah.
What happens? You drop an album and it gets spins, and then you come back.
I have no idea. They're really not my wheelhouse. But I think it. And Vinny, maybe you could speak to this because I don't know them. But when they dropped the whole purity ring sort of good boy stuff, I think that probably helped a lot.
Nick,
because that was their thing, right?
Yeah, and then Nick was the first. He did an underwear shoot where he was grabbing his dick. And that was the first thing that set him apart. Did the whole Miley Cyrus rebranding thing. He actually had some good songs, and then Joe joined a band. I don't think that exists anymore. Remember that band? Is Talk to Me, Baby.
Oh yeah, Cake by the Ocean.
Cake by the Ocean. Yeah, he was a lead singer of the band. Kevin just did a reality show. And then now they were back together as a group.
All right.
Well, they're bigger than ever. So says TMZ. I'm trying to get all my hard-hitting news.
Well, a mother in New Hampshire is battling to keep her vanity license plate after receiving an angry DMV letter that she must turn it back in. The plate says...
Wait a minute. The DMV issues that.
Yeah, and she's had this one for a while. She's had this one for 15 years. They want it back. It says... She's a mom. She's being a little cheeky, a little fun. It says
she's grandmothered in. You issued, you vetted it, you issued it, and now I got it.
No longer. It's pee before we go, because she has the kids and that's what they always say. But it's offensive, they said. The mother told an online source, it's what you and everybody says to your kids before you walk out the door. Pee before we go. Auger has had the plate for 15 years, but she is one of 92 state drivers who've received this letter to surrender their vanity plate. In her case, pee before we go is said to violate a rule against referencing excretion. She's going to fight it. She wants to keep that plate.
I'd go full fucking Ruby Ridge on their ass.
Come get it.
I'd be on the fucking roof with a fucking shotgun. First bird, then buck. I'd just fuck you.
Yeah, who cares?
Come fucking get your fucking plate and pry it out of my cold dead hands. Jesus Christ. And by the way, like the DMV, I was just at the DMV. Like, you guys aren't some sort of hopper, some fucking hamper of fuck ups. That's all you are. Right. Is a fucking gutter that just attracts fuck ups, and they just slide into the flume of life.
Speaking of DMV and my ankle injury from my scooter, I'm bringing it all full circle. I applied for like a temporary handicap sticker,
parking placard.
It took like 5 months to come.
Sure.
I was healed by the time it came.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what do I do? I literally had a scooter. I was parking the scooter in regular handicaps, regular spots, and like riding it out there, you know? A couple times I did the handicap spot, and I felt guilty. And like I would like roll up to the handicap spot, like, see? But I didn't have the official plaque to do it. It's so crazy to me. I took that long to come.
All you need to know about the DMV is when I was there 2 weeks ago trying to get my credit card to pay for my new driver's license, they're like, oh, we have a pilot program where we're going to start experimenting with taking credit cards, but we're not there yet.
Yeah.
It's like, boy, are you guys fuck-ups. So she should be able to keep it. That doesn't offend anyone. In this new world where the president's sending horrible tweets and everyone's calling everyone a Nazi, there's somebody who's offended
really a
by
violation?
P before you go?
Yeah. The letter P.
It's good advice.
The letter P.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, Eva Longoria has been tapped to direct a movie about the man who created the Flamin Hot Cheeto. Flamin Hot tells the inspiring story of Richard Montanez.
Are we done with her yet?
Not yet.
She's a fucking activist now.
Well, this story's pretty interesting. He's a Mexican immigrant who worked as a janitor at Frito-Lay's Texas headquarters, and he came up with the idea for the spicier flavor of Cheeto. Longoria is very busy these days, making her feature film directorial debut with the comedy 24/7, which stars her and Kerry Washington. She also tied to a number of other projects, but I don't know, this one might be a little interesting. Little rags to riches story.
Hot Guido, that could be a recipe.
Yeah.
In that book.
Well, they were calling me the Cheeto Guido one of the seasons because they were saying like I cheated on my girl because like I picked up a stripper in a club or something like that. So
Cheeto.
Yeah. Allegedly.
It was on camera,
you did?
but I was picking her up like a child. I was just making a joke. Like,
you literally picked her up.
Yeah, I picked her up. Like I threw her over my shoulder, and then on reality TV, that's cheating.
The other dudes in the house with you were literally orange, and you were the Cheeto Guido?
Yeah. Surprisingly.
So he created the Flaming Hot. Is that what the Colonel's putting on the sandwich now, or is that just regular Cheetos?
Oh,
Jesus
yeah,
Christ.
with the Cheeto sauce and the...
Oh.
No one should know this.
Yeah.
Yeah. And is the cheetah still their mascot?
Yep.
Yeah, but he's
I
like
know the guy who
Cool
voices
Chester,
him.
though. He's like Cool Chester.
Yeah,
now.
he's Cool Chester Cheetah.
Man. All right, let's do one more, Gina.
All right. Well, why not end with something completely insane? A Queen fan in England was left starstruck after spotting frontman Freddie Mercury in his pork chop. And hopefully we will put this on AdamCarolla.com. You can see the little mustache there, ear, the sideburns. 47.
Hold on, I got to stare at it.
Yeah, look at it. It's like
I don't see it.
It's like finding the sailboat in those dot paintings.
Yeah.
Optical.
Wait, his face is the white part?
Yeah,
Would you like me to go over there?
I see it.
I have
gonna go over there.
to stare at it, and I'm not seeing it either.
Maybe this is like the new dress thing. Like either you see it or you don't.
Oh, yeah. Okay. But listen. First off,
that's tough.
I got to be even-handed here. I make fun of the Mexicans when they spot the Virgin Guadalupe and the tortilla. Now I have to make fun of Whitey.
Yeah.
Sorry, Whitey.
Yeah, this is Derek Sims, 47 years old.
That's a white dude right there. Derek Sims is a white-ass dude. Sorry, you're getting lumped in with the Mexicans in this one.
He popped
The Shroud of Touring.
That's right.
Oh, look at you. Okay. Yep. Popped in this $5 cut of meat in the frying pan, only to find the rock legend suddenly appear as he cooked it. The dad of two had been cooking dinner for himself and his wife. He saw the image resembling the superstar who passed away in 1991. They ate it, but they took a picture first and let the world enjoy it. Doesn't seem like a great cut either. That's a lot of fat right there. Right in that one square cut.
It's keto.
Yeah.
That's right.
I wonder how Freddie would feel about not the eating part, but the next morning. You know what I mean?
Oh.
When it's when he's coming at you.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
probably no.
No,
It's this
that's
tasteless.
good. Tasteless. Oh, I bet
The pork chop?
pork chop's got a lot of marbling on
Umami.
there.
It's very umami.
We'll cut that out.
Yeah. All right, one more, Gina Grant. What else? I don't want to go on.
Come
Go
on,
on a
Freddie Mercury
pork
poop.
low. Yeah.
All right, you got it. Well, in a bid to tackle its sex problem, China's Love Pursuit train brings young men and women together for a 2-day journey to play icebreaker games and get to know each other. And this is very, very important stuff in China. It launched 3 years ago. It's had about 3,000 participants. They said it's resulted in 10 marriages, hundreds of relationships. Now, since abolishing its one-child policy in 2015, the country's been struggling not only with an imbalance of sexes, but also a lack of interest in marriage altogether for women. The reason,
Women ruin everything.
The reason for matchmaking services like this one is that in a country like China, there are 30 million more males than females, and women don't want to just get married. They want to move to big cities and start their career. This has left villages in parts of China with nothing but elderly parents and their bachelor sons living with them. And so they're trying to do these little meetups and meet and greets to get people talking.
Well, once again, the unintended circumstances, like you just can't get in and start fucking with stuff because it's okay, whether it's this or school lunches. Yeah. It's like it's okay at the very beginning, and then down the road, the chickens kind of come home to roost, and it fucks everything up. Like you just have to kind of let nature work on things.
I think there's a new documentary about this too, about the one-child system. And when I went on the inaugural Birthright Israel trip back in 2000, now they're everywhere and they do them all the time. And it's sponsored by I think it's Charles Bronfman and maybe Spielberg. The whole point, it became very clear very quickly, the whole point was to get Jewish kids drinking and talking and hanging out and procreating and being in relationships. I met my boyfriend on the trip and we were together for 4 years.
So it worked.
That was the point of the trip, to get Jewish kids together and get them married up instead of all this interfaith stuff. That's anecdotally, that's what we realized very quickly was a major selling point for these trips.
Meanwhile, Pete Davidson is just plowing his way through the United States without a fucking care in the world.
His own train.
I told you.
On a celebrity
when
train.
people felt bad, Max Zapata, remember it was all boo-hoo, Ariana Grande's dumping. I said, do not worry. Do not worry about that. I know how chicks are wired. He's going to bang all the hotties from now on. Was I right or was I right?
Oh, he's banging hotties.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, hype man.
All right, let's bring it home, Gina
You got it. I'm Gina Grad, and that's the news. I am a liar.
That was the news with Gina Grad.